Right, this is a quick walk around video, and this is for a Honda Cr-V rather, 2 litre EX automatic, finished in silver, and a really lovely looking car, it really is. Low mileage ones, just over 60,000 miles this car, but I'll get the exact mileage off the odometer when we get inside. The lights and lenses are completely clear and intact. The front of the car is very clean. Oh, only the odd very minor stone chip. The bonnet itself hardly exhibits a stone chip of any note at all. It really does. It's very clean. Come down the near side of the vehicle first. The panel look really clean. Front near side alloy, pretty much unmarked there. And panels down here, it's exceptionally clean for a car this age and mileage. It really is. Sorry, nearly forgot. Near side rear alloy, again very clean. There's no marks there at all. And then to come further around and back, there's a couple of stone chips or marks have been touched in on the back here, but nothing that detracts really from the car, for certainly given the age and mileage of the vehicle. Then around to the off side of the car, that's with the near side. It's pretty much like a mirror in the panels there, wonderfully clean. Offside rear alloy again, pretty much unmarked, no corrosion at all. And to carry on down there, panels, apart from a couple of watermarks from water splash, nothing at all, exceptionally clean. Final alloy, as with all the others, completely unmarked. Coming to the back of the car, obviously these have got absolutely enormous boots. The rear seats there, they can pull them forward on runners, they also sort of flip and fold forward. It's all very cleverly done by Honda. Coming to the back of the car, you can just see how much legroom we've got. Absolutely amazing amounts of rear legroom. And again, full black leather in the car, in absolutely beautiful condition. Coming to the front passenger side, again, been kept very nicely in this car. Front passenger seats in excellent condition. Coming to the front now, on the driver's side, again all very clean and tidy. Driver's seat in very good condition. Only the odd sort of tiny signs of wear you'd expect with the age and mileage of the vehicle. So sat inside the car now, dashboard's in absolutely beautiful condition. It looks as close to new as you can reasonably expect in a car this age and mileage, in all honesty. You can see there, sat nav working exactly as it should, and if I pop the car into reverse, you get that lovely clear rear parking camera fits the vehicle as well. But it's just a lovely car in here, really is. I'll come across the dashboard and just pan in there for you. Hopefully you can see 62,617 miles, and there's absolutely no warning lights on the dashboard at all. Auto lights and auto wipers on these EX cars, and then your multifunction steering wheel with your cruise control top right, radio controls on the top left, then your hands-free functions on the bottom left there, all working exactly as they should. Now if we look up above, you've got this blind here. If you press the button across, you see the blind comes back and opens, and then it adds so much more natural light into the car, all working exactly as it should. Just to quickly show you, we've got the full owner's manual pack and lock and wheel nut key here with the car. Right then, this is a quick road test video, and this is for a Honda Cr-V 2 litre EX, registered DF57VLV. Mileage at the start of this road test is 62,610 miles. The reason we do the road test is just so customers actually get to see the cars we're selling in operation. That way, if there's anything sort of obvious mechanical that needs to be reported back to you about the car, which isn't quite right, then this is the opportunity to do so. It's also done on the very quiet country roads, very close to our premises, so hopefully be representative of what you'd feel yourself if offered a test drive in the vehicle. The car itself has been very well looked after. It drives really nicely. Engine starts, first turn of the key and settles to a very smooth, completely even idle. But it's a very willing, very refined, very smooth engine. And driving around like this, it's just a lovely companion. They've always been a great engine, the Hondas, but it's just the nature of them, the very little vibration, very little noise unless you press hard on the throttle, and then you're rewarded with quite a nice engine note, which you tend to get from these cars. Engine's been running for quite some time now, and temperature gauge is running at a third on the temperature gauge, which is exactly where it should be on a Honda car, whether it be petrol or a diesel. And it's also worth pointing out there's absolutely no warning lights on this vehicle at all relating to the engine or to any other part of the car for that matter. Engine then feeds through into the Honda automatic gearbox. Very good companion to the engine. Very well thought out and judged ratios on the gearbox, and as with all these Honda gearboxes, it changes gear beautifully smoothly, to the point of being virtually imperceptible. On any used car of any age regardless, I always recommend you just look out for the obvious things when you select drive or reverse from stationary. Is there a delay in its engagement? Does it go in with a bit of a thud? Do any of the gears feel harsh in their change? Because if they do, you just walk away from the car. It's not something you ever really get on a Honda, but you should check it, as with all cars. But this one, absolutely perfect. It drives beautifully. As you probably already know, that these are cam chain driven engines, so there's no cam belts to worry about on them either, and they've got a reputation, as with the gearbox, for lasting for hundreds of thousands of miles. They're very, very, very tough mechanically, these cars. Steering on the vehicle is a real strong point of these CR-Vs. It's power assisted steering, so there's not much effort required to steer the car, obviously. But what it has is a real lovely weight to the steering, which makes the car feel wonderfully solid on the road. Doesn't feel nervous or skittish. It just feels completely hunkered down to the road. Makes that car actually feel heavier than it is, which is a nice feeling. Instead, don't misinterpret that as it's heavy to drive. It isn't. It just makes the car feel solid, and it is. They're very solid. Steering tracks absolutely bullet straight. There's no vibrations coming back through the steering wheel at this speed or any speed up to the legal limit, which is a bit of a pet hate of mine in all honesty, but it's very precise, very accurate. Go through corners like this, you just turn, it holds its line beautifully well, and suspension, which is brilliantly judged. There's no pitch or wallow with the car, which you can get with this type of car. It holds its corner and stance incredibly well. They're very, very, very well done. Also with the suspension, no noises coming from underneath, no sort of clonks or rattles from underneath the vehicle, so everything all in good order under there. Ride is very comfortable on the dead ahead like this, gets rid of most of the sort of small bumps very well indeed, only caught out by sort of deeper potholes or ridges in the road, as with any car. Brakes on the car, I'm just going to give it a bit of a shove. Nice solid brake pedal, there's no pulsing vibrations coming back through the steering wheel, through the pedal of the car, sorry. So again, all in very fine order. Also, when you hit the brake pedal, you get it pulls down straight and true. There's no, it doesn't pull left or right in any way. Checking the cruise control function, that's working exactly as it should as well. Looking around inside the car, these are beautifully made cars inside. The dashboard looks very, very, very clean, as you know from the Walkaround video. Sat nav working absolutely perfectly on the car. The dashboard itself is a joy to use. It's very simple, it's very well equipped, but you haven't got a huge number of buttons to get lost in, and no sort of silly sub menus to go into on, apart from on the sat nav you can sort of change configuration if you want to. But it's just it's a breath of fresh air in a sort of complicated world that you just jump in these cars and drive them without feeling kind of alienated by them in any way. If you don't already know, and I'm sure you probably do, these are obviously four-wheel drive vehicles. Honda employer system, which is brilliant because it's so simple. They worked out very quickly that most people would just drive like this on normal roads in normal conditions, where having a four-wheel drive system operating would be utterly pointless and a waste of fuel, tyres, and puts mechanical wear on the car. So this runs in front-wheel drive pretty much all the time. Only if the front wheels start to spin and lose grip will it introduce the rear wheels to give you four-wheel drive, and it does it smoothly, seamlessly, and it, because of the lack of frequency of use, it's incredibly reliable. We've never ever touched the four-wheel drive system on these, and we've sold literally thousands of Honda cars using this system, and never put a spanner on them. So it is a very tough system. As I said at the start of the video, the whole point of these videos is just to show the car in operation, as I said. I can't find anything whilst driving the car that sort of detracts in any way. It drives really, really nicely. It just feels a good, high quality, solid car that's very, very smooth to drive. However, if there's any questions about the car, please don't hesitate. Do give us a call and we'll happily answer any questions you might have about this vehicle.